We will move on to Taylor Talk and the footage courtesy of NFL Game Pass. Ike, I chose the play of the Steelers' failed flea flicker. So to set this up for our viewers and listeners, this was in the first quarter. The Chiefs had gone down and scored a touchdown. Steelers opened the drive at the 25-yard line. This is in the first quarter. Steelers trail by 7. First play of the drive here. And Ike, we're going to see a cover 3 technique. And so I'll let you explain to the listeners and the viewers what that means. And I can say who's each player's responsibility if you need help with that, Ike. But Steelers on their failed flea flicker here, going up against a cover 3 defense that the Chiefs are running here.
So for all the viewers who don't know, a cover 3 defense is defense. So it's 4 under 3 deep. So it's 3 linebackers and a safety probably come opposite side of the strong linebacker. And the 3 deep is 2 corners and a safety. The 2 corners got both thirds of the field. The middle post free safety has the middle of the field. But this is one of the reasons why this flea flicker didn't work, because the running game wasn't working. And the only time it works is when you have a running game. But if I'm on the defensive side and I'm not going to get fooled, and I know the Pittsburgh Steelers at this point in time don't have a running game, I'm looking at the high hats of the offensive line. Because usually when you're passing, you have high hats. And what I mean by high hats is everybody up tall and they standing up because they're doing pass protection. Now, if it was a low hat, that means it was coming downhill, they was running, they trying to push the defensive lineman off the ball, but they're not. If you look at this sequence, look at the high hats. So that's telling me as a corner, man, this is a trick play. Something is about to happen. And also, y'all really haven't been having a running game, really, as in the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's my indication right there. If we can run it, I get another point to it.
Sure. And as this runs, if you see on the far left third of the screen, that's cornerback Mike Hughes lined up against Deontay Johnson. Honey Badger has the deep middle of the field, and then Charvarius Ward has the far right side. You can see him circled, matched up against Ray-Ray McCloud on this play. We're going to pause it here again, Ike.
Yeah, so if you look at Ward, before we paused it, Ward had did something called a speed turn, which is rare now when it comes down to technique for the NFL corners. So speed turn will always get you back on top to where you need to be. If you open up towards the receiver will always have a step ahead of you. But the fact that Ward has speed turn, and now you can start to see the cover 3. So you can see Ward getting back to his zone. You can see the Honey Badger, he's sitting in the middle of his zone. And you can see the other corner. Well, you can't see the other corner, but he's sitting in his zone. And if you look at the linebackers, 2 linebackers in the inside, they're doing exactly what they need to do. They're retreating. So now they see it's not a run. Let me retreat. Let me get back to the flats. Let me get back to the hook curls. Let me get back in my zone in my area. But this is perfectly ran by the Kansas City Chiefs, because right now the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a run game. If we could just fast forward this play.
And Charvarius Ward with the speed turn gets the depth he needs on this play as well, as he makes a great play on the interception.
Yeah, so they always taught, and I only caught a few of these in my life. We was always taught to high point the ball. And if you didn't know no better, if you knew nothing about football, you thought Ward was the receiver, and you think McCloud is the cornerback. That's just how good of a position he's in. And he's up there. Right now, he's skywalking. So for me, looking at a DB, regardless on whether you're Pittsburgh Steelers, just DBs in general, I feel like we're just one of a few. It's only 64 of us, in the NFL, if you think about it, that's starting right or left side corner. But for Ward to jump up and catch this and high point this, you're coached this, and everybody don't get coached too good in NFL, but this is a lot of good athleticism. He's high pointing the ball. You can see his eyes on the ball. Even in this clip right here, you can just see he's looking the ball in the whole time.
And with this side angle shows too, I know the Steelers are trying to make a play, but Ben Roethlisberger throwing the ball up here, Ray-Ray McCloud almost goes to the defender to try to prevent the interception. Ray-Ray McCloud is jumping as high as he can on this play too. He had no chance at catching this pass. And again, I know it's a trick play. I know the Steelers are trying to catch the Chiefs on their heels. But we were talking a little bit before the podcast. This reminds me of growing up when you play 500 in the backyard, 500 dead or alive, and you just throw it up. My point being, Ray-Ray McCloud had no chance to catch this ball. So he goes from receiver to defender to try to prevent the interception on this play. And again, I go for the young DBs out there, the depth that Ward got on this play, because he can then high point the ball like you said, Ike.
Yeah, in a perfect world, if it was a Juju or if it was a Deontay, Ray-Ray McCloud, in a perfect world, he should have did an 18-yard stop. And Ben probably would have put it on the button. But the fact he hasn't been playing receiver a lot throughout the course of his Steelers career, he just kind of ran a route he was supposed to run. And Ben just kind of threw it out there. So to Ben's defense, either I'm throwing it in the dirt or I'm throwing it overhead where nobody can catch it. I know he always throw the balls up so some guys can make plays like a Chase Claypool do for him all the time. But at this particular moment, this flea flicker ain't working because the running game ain't working. So if I was Ray-Ray, if I was a seasoned Ray-Ray McCloud, I would have stopped at 18 to 20 yards and put Ben in a better situation. But Ben also has to know who his personnel, who he's throwing to, who like jump balls, who don't like jump balls.
And we can continue to run this play here. And so, again, I go back to the depth that the defensive backs got, because usually on a flea flicker, they commit and bite down on the run, but they've got the depth that they need on this play, Ike.
And he got the style points come down with that one hand, too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to see what it looked like here on TV here in just a second. And you see safety one, Thornhill, come down, because initially it looks like a two-deep shell, but as the play runs, he comes down as the snap. It's snapped, and we're going to pause it again here so you can see the cover three shell. So again, at the top of your screen, you see Chiefs cornerback Mike Hughes lined up against Deontay Johnson. In the deep middle, you've got Honey Badger. And then in the bottom third, you see Charvarius Ward has the bottom third that you can see on your screen. And he's the one who made a great leaping interception on this play. But again, you see this here, Ike, and you mentioned the hi-hats. On a flea flicker, you want to catch the defensive backs coming downhill because they're being overly aggressive, and that just never happened here on this play.
Right, that's good eyes. That's good eyes by the secondary guys. You can tell they're not biting on the run. You can tell they're looking at the hi-hats by the offensive lineman. Now here comes our cover three, and our cover three, because you can see it from this view. You can see the two corners sitting by the numbers. That mean that mean it has a deep thirds. Whether it's two or three receivers on their side. You can see Honey Badger sitting in the middle. That's exactly where he needs to be. He got deep middle post third. So this is perfect. And as soon as Ben gives the Najee this ball and Najee gives him back the flea flicker, yes, you can see the inside linebackers that look like they might bite on the run, but after that they will retreat. So this is a well-coached on the Kansas City Chiefs offensive side, defensive side. This is a well-coached defense. Their eyes are exactly where they need to be. That's why they came up with this play, this interception by Ward on the bottom right-hand screen.
And as this play runs, it flips the field for the Chiefs, and they're able to go down and get a two-score lead following the interception, following the turnover. That turnover differential, Chiefs had 3 takeaways defensively. Steelers didn't have any. That was a key difference in Sunday's game.
Yeah. Anytime you win that kind of battle, the takeover turnover situation, it's going to be tough to win ball games, man. Coach LeBeau used to always put them up. We take the ball away from the opposing team offense, man. We're going to always put not only our team, not only the defense, but we're always going to give our offense more chances than none. So that's exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs did to the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday.